Turning now to your community focus. Do you know just how many lighthouses there are in the Ocean State? Turns out there's more than 20. And today, the president of the U.S. Lighthouse Society paid a visit to some of them. He joins me now live in studio. Henry Gonzalez, thanks for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So I understand you were out in a boat this morning visiting some of the lighthouses in Rhode Island. What were your takeaways?
Well, actually, it was a little bit choppy when we went out this morning. So we were able to get down to Plum Beach Lighthouse and see that one, and then had to turn around because it was getting a little bit too rough, and the captain said time to head back into the barn. But yesterday I also got to see Beaver Tail Lighthouse as well, climb the tower, and great view from up there.
Fabulous. There are some special lighthouses here in Rhode Island. Talk to me about what the U.S. Lighthouse Society is and what you do.
Cool. So we're a national nonprofit organization. We've got about 3,500 members nationwide, every state in the union. And we basically try to supplement what the local lighthouse nonprofit organizations do. Here in Rhode Island, you've got a lot of beautiful lighthouses, like you said, a lot of local groups, and we strongly support what they do. But we also try to help with things that they can't do perhaps quite as well on their own. You know, there's power in numbers, and so what we bring to the table is a network of contacts that we have around the country, of different resources, of lessons learned that lighthouse managers can share with each other.
Speaking of lessons learned, our colleague TJ Del Santo has done a lot of reporting about the Connecticut Point or Connecticut Shoals Lighthouse off the coast of Warwick. I remember growing up looking at it as a child, and now there's conversations about maybe turning it into a bed and breakfast. Have you seen that done successfully in other places?
Absolutely, yeah. There's quite a few all around the country. On land, offshore lighthouses, and the key to me is to make sure that they do it in a tasteful manner from a historic preservation perspective. But to have an alternative use like that, where it brings money to the lighthouse so they can continue to preserve it, is a perfectly good thing for them to do. And like I said, you see quite a few of those around the country.
We're starting to see more and more of these lighthouses be transferred to different groups.
Right.
And just recently, the Watch Hill Lighthouse was transferred to a private group and a nonprofit group. And there's been some concern that maybe the public won't have as much access to the lighthouse as before. Do you think it's important that these landmarks continue to have access to the public?
Absolutely. I mean, these are national treasures. They're not just private. A lot of these transfers have been occurring under something called the National Historic Lighthouse Preservation Act, which in fact was passed 24 years ago now.
Wow.
And some of the clauses in that government program is they will transfer the lighthouse to a new nonprofit owner, for example, through a competitive process, but they have to continue to have public access. It's an important part of the application process that gets evaluated, and it gets checked out every year to make sure that they are providing access to the public. So the private owners don't have to abide by the same regulations in terms of public access, but many of them do. They want to expose it to as many people as they can. They use that to help preserve the lighthouse as well, and to seek volunteers and so forth to help them. So yeah, public access, it's an important part of our history, maritime history, going all the way back to the founding of the country, and we have to share that with everybody.
Lots of rich maritime history here. Specifically, Henry Gonzalez, the president of the U.S. Lighthouse Society. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Kim. My pleasure.